Maybe we will.
Rocking this all over the place.
Yeah, we rocking and rolling. Rocking and rolling and rolling and rocking.
Hey, hey, hey.
Howdy do, howdy do.
Why am I not getting a notification?
Good to see you, sis.
Here we go.
Oh, there's your notification. We'll give everybody a couple of seconds to get in and get cozy. Welcome to the marriage.
Making marriage matter.
Making marriage matter. We're not in the cave, so we in the den. Got a really, I know I sound so energetic right now, but just deal with me. We got a real hot topic tonight. We're talking about expectations in marriage and setting realistic expectations, I should say. Dealing with situations in, there we go. Dealing with situations in marriage. Sometimes Disney set us up to believe that everything would end happily ever after once you got married. Once you found the person that you were in love with, everything would work out just right. You can talk to married people or you can talk to divorced people, and both will tell you that is definitely not the case. So we're going to talk tonight about unrealistic expectations, and we put out a quick survey to some people about some expectations that they had going into marriage and if they were realistic or unrealistic. So if those of you that are on the scope now, if you want to put some expectations that you have, feel free to, and we'll address those too. But we have a working list that we'll deal with. My wife is.
I'm doing all the technical stuff.
Tootling away. So the first one is
expecting your young husband to instinctively know how I was feeling. Surely he can read my mind.
Can I take that one, or do you want it?
You can take that one.
Yeah. Ladies, let me help you. Men, we're not dumb. I don't want you to think we're dumb. But we can be dense.
Dense? Okay.
Yeah, we can be dense. We don't think like women think at all. There are some things that you see that we'll never see. There are some things that you'll smell that we'll never smell. There are some things that you'll hear that we'll never hear. So for me to be asked to think like you is completely unrealistic. I don't care how long we've been together. There are some things that I can just pick up on my wife now, but there's still some things where she'll look at me and say, well, you didn't know? No, sweetie, I didn't know. If you didn't tell me, I didn't know. Communication is huge when it comes to situations like this. So that is one myth that I can kill right up front. I don't think like you, so to think for 1 second that I should have known better, I didn't. We were raised in 2 different houses. Gene, it's good to see you. Kiana, we're praying for you. We love you. We love you. I'm sorry, back on topic.
Why Gene get a special shout out every
That's
week?
my dog. Gene and Brock. They hold me down.
Tommy logged on.
Tommy's on here? Tommy, if you on here, shoot a heart. Or hit your screen. Yeah, see.
Tommy, I swear I just saw Tommy's name. There's Brock.
Yeah, we were never created to understand each other, but to appreciate and learn and love from each other. And that's very true. At the end of the day, we're very different. But if you've ever noticed, hanging around people that you're just alike is very annoying. I don't like to hang around with people that are just like me. I like a diverse circle because I don't want a lot of yes men. I don't want a lot of let's do this. I like creative stuff. So if I'm out of ideas, that means if everybody was like me, all of us will be out of ideas. So, see, glad you're feeling better, Jen.
Thank you.
Okay, next one.
Next one. expecting him to have my father's depth of wisdom and maturity. So I'll let you take that, and then I'll take expecting her to have your mother's traits.
Okay. Expecting him to have your father. First of all, it goes to. I'm kind of rocking here. Can you? Yeah, there you go.
Steady you?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's work together.
Okay. Teamwork.
First of all, this goes to say that your husband is lacking some sort of wisdom, or your father had a better wisdom. Just because it's what you grew up with doesn't mean it's right. It just means it's comfortable.
It's what you know.
It's what you know. So, expecting your new husband, and this is especially for younger couples, expecting your new husband to be just as wise as your old man is probably false on your half. Your dad had to make some mistakes. Your dad had to go through some learning curves in order to become the man that he is. And a lot of us overlook the process of what it took to get him there, and we just see the final product. I guarantee you, when my girls get old enough to start looking for a spouse, they're going to say, I want somebody that's like my dad. In the back of my mind, I'm really saying, no, let's pray for somebody better than your daddy. Because your daddy put your mama through some stuff. And your daddy put some other chicks through some stuff that didn't make it to be the wife. So let's pray for somebody that's better than daddy. So that being said, just because you see the now, don't mistake what has already happened for what could be. Exactly. Your husband, your spouse could be far greater. They could be further along in their maturity, but you have them at a young age. So don't look at them and say, well, you should have already known that. You should have already taken care of that. You should have already been responsible. No, people have to grow up, and prayerfully they grow together.
Exactly. And the same kind of goes for men that expect their wife to be like their mom. You got that comment?
Yep, I got it.
All right. Because we're not your mom. And we might have some same characteristics or things that we do that's like them. But the biggest insult that you can give your wife is to constantly compare her to another woman. And what happens is you set up a line of tension between your wife and your mom. And that creates unrest in the household.
Just a quick story, and this is me being completely transparent. There was, I won't even use names or situations. I went out of town, stayed with a friend of mine, and his girlfriend at the time.
Oh, Lord.
Well, see, there you go. His girlfriend at the time was completely hospitable. Everything that we needed, she supplied. Every time we were hungry, she cooked. Every time there was a dish in the kitchen, she washed. Every time something fell on the floor, she vacuumed. Every time my cup was empty, she filled it. This woman was...
He ain't married to her, though.
Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. She was on top of her game. Now, it was a friend of mine's girl. And so, see, watch your words. There you go. It didn't do anything for me, but it did open my eyes to see that, there's people out here that do stuff like this. Mm-hmm. So I came home and I told my wife, well, she did this and she did that. Well, next thing I know, my wife has an attitude with me. I didn't do anything. I was just explaining. See, the side eye. Yeah. I was just explaining the situation. I didn't say that. I didn't even want the girl. It was my boy's girl. Mm-hmm. But I came home and talked about it and got myself in trouble.
To the point I said, well, you can go back with said person.
See, so it doesn't always. So
but everything's good now.
Yeah. Don't focus on other people's situations. I live to tell the tale.
Exactly.
And I learned that everything is not always as green as it appears.
Exactly.
Sometimes you've always heard that the grass is greener on the other side.
But you don't know what their water bill is.
You don't know what their water bill is. You don't know what it paid to get there. And you don't know how much spray paint they use to get their grass green.
Exactly.
And it could really be brown and everything could be dead, but they've put enough spray paint on it to make it look to everybody else that everything is going just fine.
Exactly.
When the truth is, the grass got weave. See, I'm a natural. I don't like weave on grass. I don't like weave on women. I like stuff that I touch to be real. All right.
All right. Number 3. Thinking he would think like me. I think more like him now.
That's kind of like the same thing as the first one. To know how you're thinking.
Neither one of us can know what the... Now, I will say there's times where...
Hey, Miss Parker.
There's times where I can look at him and because we're so close, I can tell what is kind of going through his brain. Or I can tell that his wheels are turning and I'll say, okay, what you thinking about? Or I'll say, babe, don't worry about it. We'll do such and such, so and so. And give him a word of encouragement. He does the same for me. But that's because we've been together for...
Yeah, we just know each other.
Right. And we can see it in our facial expressions and see it in our mannerisms.
Yeah. And usually that happens in times of strife. Like when people get on my last nerve, my wife is the first one to see it. And she also knows that's part of the two becoming one. Absolutely. She also knows when I'm about to snap on somebody, and she's quick to say, hey, why don't we go have a walk? Or let's go get something to drink. Can we go to the water fountain? I'll be like, I don't want no water. I want to... No. Let's come with me. And she'll interrupt a conversation that I'm having with somebody because she knows my mannerisms when it's about to go down. And because she loves me, and she loves my ministry, she doesn't allow it to go down. Even though I'll be this close to letting people have it because I'm not for the games. But I love the Lord, so pray for me.
Too far.
We done came too far. We done come this far by faith. All right.
All right. Thinking he would be like me. I'm so glad he's not.
Yeah. No, but you don't want to... Whatever you hear people say, I married somebody just like me, be afraid. Because... The truth is there are differences in gender. There's differences in people. There's specifically differences between couples. If Jayla was just like me, what good is that? I have my own strengths. What do I need your strengths to match my strengths for? Because if we super strong in an area, it also means that we're super weak in an area. So I need somebody to offset me, not to make me stronger where I'm already strong. I'm good. I can handle this bench press, but I need somebody to do my leg day. I don't like legs. Somebody do leg day.
And balance each other out.
Right. And you have uneven power.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh,
this is a good one. A friend of mine said when he got married, he thought that his attraction for other women would die out completely.
No.
The truth is, even though you're married, you're not blind.
No.
You're not... You still have all of your senses.
Exactly.
The difference is you have yours. So respectfully, do what you got to do.
What that mean?
That means, okay, me and my wife have fantasy crushes, if you will. You decline the temptation, absolutely. But we have fantasy crushes. Things that will never happen.
Right.
But, I'm cleaning it up. Hold on. Let me get there. Things that will never happen, that it's okay. Like, I can openly talk about Rihanna at home. It's okay.
How old don't know how she made the list because she wasn't on the original list.
I think
so who did you swap out?
I'll replace somebody. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Rihanna is like this new video that she came out with is absolutely, it's amazing. And it's something that I enjoy seeing. But quit looking at me like that. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Her and her big, she does have a big forehead. See? So now Latham is, I'm not going to get in trouble. One of my original ones was and is Janet Jackson. Janet is Janet. And before she was Janet, she was Janet. So I have an appreciation for Janet.
Okay.
But I can talk about it and my wife won't get mad and give me the side eye.
Don't tear it long, Reverend.
Yeah, because we've talked about this before. But the truth is, I still have eyes. I still have the ability to see. So to think that I would not be attracted doesn't make sense. I'm attracted to women. And there are women that are still attractive on earth. So God didn't well I don't know about them. I can't help with that. So if but if my wife tells me, Rudy, I still got Rudy. Yes, God. And I married a prettier Rudy. Don't get it twisted.
Well, thank you.
But it comes down to, like, for me, if my wife comes home, there's certain things that I like to do. I like to smell good. If my wife comes home and says, man, this man smells real good, what do you smell like?
Let's go to the store. Let's figure it out.
Let's figure it out.
Did you ask him what he was wearing?
If you think he smells good, I can smell like him. But I can't. I'm never gonna look like Idris Elba. It's just not me.
Yes,
cologne is a great thing. I like to smell good.
It is.
So don't think just because you're married that your wife is gonna quit looking at other guys, or that your husband is gonna quit looking at other girls. It's still, but don't do it in a disrespectful manner.
I actually didn't. The Perfect Guy. I don't even think I've seen that whole movie, Brock. I think I've only watched parts of it.
So yeah, don't think that it's just a cardinal sin if they find somebody else attractive.
All right. You'll never get a little sick of each other. Ooh, can I take this one?
Oh my God.
Can I take this one? So
you make me sick.
We are only children. We have step siblings and half siblings, but for the most part, for the bulk of our lives, we've been the only child. And so, with that being said, we get only child syndrome times where we be like, okay, I just need to be by myself. And we can see it on each other. And we'll be like, go have your only child moment. Go have your only child moment.
Go.
And we allow each other to have that moment because it gets to a point where you can't even stand yourself. So I just need to go take a nap, go for a walk, go for a drive, whatever it is. And it happens, even if you're not an only child. It happens when you're with somebody constantly all the time. You're going to get sick of each other. There's going to be these points and times where you're going to be like, doggone it, if you don't take that little old funky t-shirt off that you put on every time you come home from work, take it off. Or the headscarf.
Oh, that cotton picking headscarf. There's times where you just have to look and just say, I need time away. It's okay. And after a long day of work, sometimes I will go downstairs and I'll play Call of Duty.
Exactly.
I can legally shoot people and kill people, not go to jail, it's not bad. It's all in a digital format.
I know, but that's not real.
It's fine. But my wife understands I need this time. And I don't need her underneath me. Yeah, that's what the man cave is for. Or I said, like, Jay, go get your nails done because you own one. Go. Get your feet done too because just go. So there are times where even though I love my wife more than anything. I love my wife more than I love my kids, which is saying a lot. Gun range works well too, absolutely. But find a hobby that you don't share with your spouse. And maintain your individuality. It's okay to be who you are.
Right.
Because guess what? Your husband or your wife married the person that you are. So it's okay to be him or her.
All right. He'll always immediately support everything you do.
Wrong.
Ooh, can I take this one too?
Wrong. Yep.
So, ladies, I'm going to speak directly to the ladies at this point. If you are going out and doing something that you have not consulted your husband about, and you go off and you just go running rampant with your ideas and dreams and hopes and aspirations, but don't consult him, don't think he's going to be on board, because you out of order. Plain and simple, you out of order. You can get mad at me if you want to, you out of order. So if there is something that I want to do that's a dream or a goal or aspiration of mine, I have to go talk to him first as the head of the household. When we went back to school, we talked to each other about it. I talked to him. Even now, with my schedule is a little bit more crazier than his schedule is, and I'll tell him, hey, here's what's coming down the pipeline. I mean, we've got our schedule up until April of 2017 at this point. Here's what's coming down the pipeline. Is this okay? Is this going to put too much strain on the household? And if he says, babe, I need you to take a step back because I need you here right now. Guess what? I got to take a step back, and I'm okay with that. So you've got to be confident. You got that?
Yeah.
You got to be confident in yourself to know that if he is not on board, it's okay. You go to God in prayer and pray about it and pray that God softens his heart. Whenever I bring him something, whatever my idea, and I get a little creative and get a little out there sometimes.
Creative is the word.
And I can pray about it and I can go to him. And if it's something that I'm truly supposed to be doing in that moment, God has already spoke to him and has already clued him in on it, so that when I come to him, he can say, okay, yep, let's do X, Y, and Z. If it's out in left field somewhere, he'll say, babe, let's reel it in and let's think on a smaller level. How can we do this but do it on a smaller scale?
And I think we need to dispel a rumor. Just because your spouse says no doesn't mean they don't support you. I'd rather my spouse tell me no because it's not a good idea or they can't see it than to go out, put thousands of dollars into something, put it in the world, and the world be like, nah, you tripping.
You're crazy.
This is the dumbest thing who's ever heard of waterproof sand? Who needs that? So if it doesn't make sense to your spouse, then you should probably rethink what's going on with you.
Exactly.
And don't get mad. This is why you got married. You trust your spouse.
Exactly.
I don't need a yes man and I don't need a yes wife. If I have a dumb idea, I want my wife, not in those words, but I want my wife to be able to relate to me that, look, baby, this might not be what you want to do.
Exactly.
Let's figure this thing out. And you do it in love. And if you can't talk to anybody, you should be able to talk to your spouse. Crystal's right. If that should be the first person you talk to, because that's the first person that's going to pray for you.
Exactly.
I don't care if you, and this is going to get me in trouble because one day I will be a pastor, but I don't care if your pastor's praying for you. If your spouse is not praying for you, you got a problem in your house.
Exactly.
Because your husband is the head of your house.
Yep.
He's the umbrella. He's your covering.
Exactly.
So if you're not good there, and women, see, now you done got me. Women don't, if you want your husband to get into church,
don't come home talking about what the pastor said.
Quit running back talking about what the pastor said, how good he is. Guess what? I'm so honorary that even if it is the greatest thing in the world,
you ain't gonna do it.
I'm not going simply because you said it's better than what I have to offer.
Exactly.
Ladies, you know how to talk to your spouse.
Exactly.
You know how to get their attention. So please, 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 please,
Watch your mouth.
James Brown, please do what you do best. You know when you're irking your husband, when you're trying to rub it in his face, and spiteful love is not love at all.
Exactly.
And it will never get the goal accomplished.
It's been times where it's things that I know as a matter, like I know without a shadow of a doubt, it's for him. But it's all in how I present it. I can't come at him and be like, babe, this was the best thing ever. I have to ease into it. Hey, I heard this today. I think it'll really be good. You should take a listen to it. Even though on the inside I'm going, he has to listen. I can't come at him like that.
No, because I'm one of those people that if you tell me a movie is good, it better be great. Because I'm going to go in with expectations.
Same thing with food.
That is, or if you tell me somebody can cook,
they better be able to.
Throw down. Because if it's just okay, all of a sudden that okay got knocked down and this ain't so good.
Right.
Because you said it was going to be great.
Exactly.
So if you tell me that, if you're going to pound into my head that this man of God is so amazing and he speaks a word over your life and you'll be changed, the minute I walk into church, it better happen. Because if it don't, let me tell you what. I'm gonna write down the list, the whole service. This was stupid. This was wrong. I can't believe you got me in here for this. I'm not coming back, period.
But would you get upset if they don't react to you the same way?
Like what?
I don't know. That was the question. Brock, please expand upon that question, please.
Yeah, let me know exactly. Like if they didn't respond
as a preacher, if they didn't respond to him that way, or if your spouse doesn't respond to you that way. And once you post it,
why you typing? We'll go to
everyone in your life will love him or her.
Let me help you.
Ooh, that's funny.
There's some bitter women.
As you tell.
There's some bitter women out there that used to be your friend, that don't want to see you happy, that would rather see you single with them. Mm-hmm. Usually they're ugly.
They ain't all got to be ugly.
Hold on. Okay. Some of them are physically ugly.
They inside.
Some of them are spiritually ugly. Some of them are emotionally ugly, but they ugly. And you know what I mean. Some of them got a bad attitude about life.
When I get excited.
Yeah. If Jay gets excited about something and it doesn't, she has to break it to me.
I didn't learn it. I have learned the art to getting RevGracey on board with something.
Yeah. It's hard.
If you want RevGracey on board with something, you better come through me. Because I know how to break it to him.
That's very true. That's very true.
I know how to do it. You were talking about like friends that
everybody in your circle does not want to see you happy.
Everybody in your family don't want to see you happy.
Oh boy. Everybody in your family does not want to see you happy.
We keep it real any other time.
Why not?
Keep it real now.
There will be some people that even though this is the greatest thing that has ever happened in your life, even though your spouse completes you, even though your husband takes care of you, even though your wife is your perfect match, your helpmeet, even though everything is going just as positive as possible, there's always somebody that says, well, this ain't going to last.
Mm-hmm. Or they're not good enough for you.
They're not good enough for you. Or I've even heard, they too good for you. Mm-hmm. Family should not be in your marital life.
You're right, but I will say this.
Period.
I will say this. Before we got engaged, Cully went and talked to, you got that?
Yeah.
Cully went and talked to his family members to say, hey, I'm getting ready to propose to Jay, blah, 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 this, that, another. And there was one said person that said, well, she's not good enough to be a Gracie. We're not going to mention no names. So.
But she's been a Gracie for 10 years.
Exactly.
Bow down.
Well.
Had a real West Coast moment.
See. So, it's not necessarily that they're in your marital life, but if they're around the circle, they have input.
And Brock said the best. There's some people that are in the front row that aren't there. They paid the best seat to see you fail.
You're right about it.
They just because people pay to see you, don't mean they want to see you be successful. Exactly. Most people want to see you they want to see you succeed, just not more than them. When you start succeeding more than them, it was cool when you was engaged. I done been engaged before. That ain't nothing. Oh, it's okay when you get married, but you got a good marriage, you got a good man, you got a good wife. Wait a minute, my husband beat me. My wife cheated on me. This can't be all that.
Every man cheats.
Every man cheats. Every woman is out there sleeping with everybody. You cannot listen to everybody, and everybody does not want to see you happy.
Exactly. All right, we're gonna finish going through these.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, it's 8:02.
Come on.
All right, he'll always say the right things.
No. Ladies, you need to get this romanticism out of your head. I will never always say the right thing. I will never always say the wrong thing either. But to always think that I have the right answer is setting me up. It's putting me on a platform, a pedestal platform that easily I can be tipped off of.
Exactly.
And as good of a man as your spouse or your man is trying to be, please don't build him up so much that when he makes a mistake, now all of a sudden he's the worst thing in the world.
Right, and he didn't fail so hard because you didn't put him up so high.
Right.
You'll be close with all of his or her friends.
Nope.
Wrong.
There's some friends of Jayla's that I'm not close with. There's some friends of mine that Jayla's not close with. And honestly, there are
some friends that have shifted.
Yeah. We started out with some friends that nothing bad happened.
You just shift.
You grow up. And you'll learn that good and bad friends just, they're seasonal.
Can't go with you.
Everybody can't go to where you're trying to go. You can't take everybody with you.
And you can't go with everybody.
Hey, it's Faith.
Hey, Faith.
Okay.
All right. He'll always do small romantic gestures.
No. Because we're not romantic creatures. That's not what we do. I'm gonna look out for you on Valentine's Day. I got you for Christmas.
And it ain't even always that. We don't even celebrate Valentine's Day no more.
No, not really.
But Christmas, he is the best gift giver. He's the best gift giver for Christmas.
We try to look out from time to time. I like to give flowers. Like in the summer, it's nothing for me to walk through with
purple roses.
With roses. I like flowers myself. So to give my wife flowers is nothing. But don't expect it because that takes all the fun out of it. Like it's Tuesday. It's the second Tuesday. Where are my flowers at?
Yeah.
No, Doc. It's so much easier when I give you a flower on Wednesday and you are ecstatic instead of expecting it on Tuesday. Surprises are nice.
Yep. All right. Hooking up will always be great and will happen all the time.
This is big. Okay. When I got married, I honestly thought that, sex comes, it's biblical. Sex comes when you want it. That's just the way it works out. Year one was my most frustrating year of marriage because you go in thinking it's going down and then it doesn't go down the way you thought it would.
No.
And sooner or later you start to realize, and since this is grown folk, I'm going to keep it 100. You start to realize that she'll start to try to accommodate your need, but if she's not into it,
you don't want it.
You don't want it. It's this is not fun. It's like going to Cedar Point and it's raining. It's you can't ride everything. It's just everything ain't open, so you don't want to go to the park no more. It's false to say that every time you have sex with your spouse, it's going to be toe curling, eye popping, self stick.
Yeah.
It's going to be toe curling. It's going to be eye popping, hair straightening. I mean, sometimes it's just an expression of love. Sometimes it's 8:30. We ain't got nothing better to do.
Right.
You know,
The kids is gone.
The kids is gone, and this is just what we should be doing. But to think
Stay
that
out that water. Stay out that water. Sorry, that was a parenting moment.
To think that it's always going to be great, or you're always going to get it, is always going to be a disappointment.
Mm-hmm. And here's the other thing: we're talking about expectations. If you go into expectations of marriage with setting your expectations based on other experiences, you are setting yourself up for failure. That's why God designed your first time to be with your spouse.
Yeah. Your sexual appetite is kind of, it goes hand in hand with your spouse.
Sorry, y'all.
Blah. So when you're dealing with sexual issues, it's important to understand patience always works better. Understanding and communication, even in the bedroom, works.
Exactly.
And the better you learn your spouse, the better you learn yourself, and the happier you will be. And you'll find out that you don't have to do it 365 days a year in order to have a good sex life. Exactly. In order to be pleasing in both eyes.
Exactly. Are we going to go through the rest of these, or are we going to put them on the page?
Come on, let's go. We're almost done.
He'll say, I love you at the right time.
Yes, that's another line and a half. No. It kind of goes into being romantic all the time. There are some times where I will absolutely say the wrong thing. And it's because I'm a man, and in your eyes it's going to be wrong.
And sometimes we say the wrong thing.
It's just the way that it's set up. It's some things, it may seem that I'm insensitive, but it needed to be said.
And it makes you a better person.
And as the man of the house, I'm going to say it.
Appreciation over expectation. Exactly.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right, last one. Everything will come easily.
If it was easy, everybody would do it. Every marriage would be still prospering. Every household would not have any problems. If it was easy, there would be no divorce rate.
Exactly.
I don't want to ever say that getting married solves all your problems.
It doesn't.
What it does is it gives you the ability. Here, let me help you. This is, I feel like I'm closing.
Okay.
And when you're dealing with problems in your life as a single person, you start to perfect the way that you handle it. When you get married, you're dealing with two separate perfectionists.
Exactly.
But the problem becomes more difficult. It's just different levels of the game. So now, instead of knowing how to deal with things on your own, you perfected that. You got that thing down. She got her thing down. But now you have to figure out how to work together to accomplish a greater goal.
What if the other party doesn't handle it at all?
Well, if this is your spouse and you are married, if the other partner does not handle it at all, you just became the handler. Marriage is not 50-50. Sometimes marriage can be 100-0.
Yeah.
Sometimes when everything's great,
it's 100.
It's 100. And y'all knocking stuff out the park together.
Exactly.
Sometimes you have to carry your spouse in order for them to catch up to where they need to be. Exactly. Sometimes your spouse will carry you. Let's not look down on people that that you have to carry, because sometimes your spouse will carry you and you be like, man, they brought me over, where everybody else is like, well, what good is she? What good is he? Right. He couldn't even take care of such and so. Every now and then, it's okay to rely on your spouse and to go over and above in order to get to where you have to be.
Exactly. Prime example, and we weren't married at that point, was my family. People just don't die in my family. We got a whole lot of old people, and so we had never really dealt with death in depth before. And so when I turned 21, My great grandmother passed away. Now, my great grandmother had been in my life for 21 years. Was my babysitter the whole nine. What?
If you turn 21, I'm pretty sure your grandma was in your life
Shut up.
for 21 years.
Hush.
I'm just saying.
So, shut up. I went through a very deep, dark grieving process. And I think I was in the negative. It wasn't no 0. I was like negative 100. And he had to literally pull me and carry me through it. Because I didn't want to handle it. I didn't want to handle anything else. I became just a hot mess, for lack of a better word. And he carried me through that.
But it was because I loved her. I mean, if you love somebody, you're not just going to leave them because they can't carry their own weight.
Right.
And if you will, then you don't love them. You probably like them a whole lot. Right. You might respect them.
Right. And
but you don't
need
love
to be
them.
With that person.
I will carry Jayla over. If wherever we're going, if she can't make it, I'm carrying her.
And I carry him.
Because
it's a lot of man to carry.
It's a lot of me. But the truth is, I don't want to go anywhere and end up at any destination and look back and say, well, I wish Jay was here.
Right.
Because no matter where I go, no matter where I get elevated to, no matter what happens in life, if I can't do it with my wife, I'm not doing it. But I will. That doesn't mean that I'm just going to give up. It means that I'll strap her to my back and come hell or high water, we going to make it. Yep. Baby, we in this thing together.
Exactly.
And it has nothing to do with 50-50.
Right. And sometimes I have to get behind him and I got to push. It's been many a day that I've literally had to barrel down and push him through. Not take over, but push him so he's still leading the way, but I'm pushing him and forcing him to go. And I'm
stubborn because if I don't want to go somewhere, I hit the brakes. I am the original bull.
Mm-hmm. Stubborn as a mule.
I don't even know how stubborn a mule is. So there are some differences that man and woman is not the same. And so I tried to find some scripture to help us understand that. So the first one is Ephesians 5,
22 through 33.
22 through 33.
Am I reading this?
Yes.
Wives, submit to your own husband, as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, his body, and himself its Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit in everything to their husbands. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word.
Now, while this is not popular, ladies will get mad at me. Fellas might get mad at me. But the way that things are set up biblically, we have separate roles, which is why we won't look at things the same. This is why I'll never be able to finish all of your sentences and be the perfect romantic man that you dream of, because that's not what I was intended to be. I was intended to love you like Christ loved the church. That's my job. What does that mean? It means that in spite of what you do, in spite of what you drag me through, in spite of what you call me, in spite of what we go through, I still have to love you. Exactly. Because I done did some what's going on? I done did some unseemly things to Christ, who died for me. And he's been so faithful over my lifetime to continue to love me. Exactly. So all that means to me is, as a husband, it doesn't matter what you do as a wife. Your attitude does not impact my love for you. Right. And it's easy to say because I'm in a great situation. But the bottom line is, even if Jayla did go out and cheat on me, I gotta love you. Yep. Because that's what Christ would do. Exactly. And that's what I'm called to do. If we're going to live by the Bible, if we're going to call ourselves Christians, and we're going to have a marriage that is ordained by God, then I have to do some things that are uncomfortable.
Exactly.
And secondly, as women, and women don't like the word submit.
But it's so, once you get it, it's really easy.
I would rather, as a man, I would rather submit than,
Because he going to catch it.
yeah. I would rather be one that would submit than one that has to love through all. Because the caveat is, even if you don't submit, I still have to love you.
Yep.
But if I don't love you, you don't really have to submit, because you only submit to the person that loves you.
Tread lightly.
And a real husband
Will love his
will
wife.
love his wife
Exactly,
into submission.
Exactly. And submission, once you get that thing, it's a beautiful thing to be able to submit to your husband. It's a absolutely wonderful thing. And it takes a lot of the pressure off of us as women, that we walk around with the S on our chest thinking we got to be superwoman and save the day. When you submit, you can take that S off, and you can take off your cape and leave it to him and just submit and pray for him.
And finally, I just picked up 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. And it's one of my favorite scriptures when dealing with men. And women don't like this one either, but I'll explain it.
Likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered.
Fellas, loving your wife is your job. And as the man of the household, it is your job to take care of the weaker vessel. Ladies, I know you don't like to be called weak. I know y'all independent. I know y'all super women. But listen, well, not my wife. She's super blessed, but she's not a super woman. There's a reason that God set up gender roles. They're in the Bible. Man is the head. Woman is the supporter. As the woman, they are naturally the weaker vessel. Does that make them less valuable? Absolutely not. It just makes them more. If you ever look at anything that is delicate, usually it's more expensive. Diamond is probably the only thing that I can think of that's strong, that is very valuable. But if you look at gold, you get a 10-karat gold is a dime a dozen. And it's because it has so much in it that hardens it.
Exactly.
24-karat gold is very, very soft. It's fragile. It's weak. But it's also very expensive.
Yep.
24-karat gold is like your wife. It's weak. It's fragile. But it's also irreplaceable. And it's very, very expensive. And it's one of a kind. So you treat the things that are delicate with kid gloves. I'm going to do my best not to break my valuable thing.
Exactly.
I'm going to do my best not to hinder my weaker vessel. Because as a man, there's some things that I'll always be able to get over. There's some things that if you hit me with it, I'll be able to handle it. I'll be able to get us through it. But if it gets past me and it hits my wife, she may not ever be able to get past it. It may always hinder her for the rest of her life. So as a man, it's our job to shield our wives, to make sure that no unnecessary shrapnel comes in and hurts the weaker vessel. You're strong, but that doesn't make you more valuable. It makes you tougher. It makes you able to sustain. It makes you able to protect. Now, it's men, it's our job to protect. But if you don't have anything to protect, you don't have a job. It's too many jobless marriages going on.
Wow.
There are too many men that don't have to protect because their women are too busy taking on armor to try to protect themselves. When men step up to the plate and realize that it's our job to take care of our wives, you'll find more wives and more women putting down their combat tools and starting to become the weaker vessel again.
And women, we've got to stop taking their job from them. I know we like control. I am a control freak. I want to know everything that is going on in every step of the way. And honestly, going to school has changed my mindset because it is 2 days that I am not at home, that I have no control over the situation. I literally have to relinquish my control in order to take on what I've been called to do in this season and let him lead the way that he's supposed to.
Amen. So that's our time for the day. We went overtime, but
We sorry, y'all.
we monopolized your Saturday. Do me a favor, kiss your spouse, let them know you love them.
Exactly.
Men, please step up. If you are in the area, tomorrow is our Men's Day. We have a dynamic men's speaker. I forgot his name, but he's dynamic. We already heard him once today. So I invite you either 8 or 11 o'clock service. Women, if you want to come.
To Trinity Missionary Baptist Church of Pontiac, 113-123 Weston Street, Pontiac, Michigan, 48341.
It will help the family. I don't want you to think that we only go have men at the church. There will be women there.
Yep.
And usually they're bringing their men with them.
Thanks,
so,
Brock. We love you too.
Love you.
Hey guys, do us a favor. We are, I think, 20 people away from hitting our 250 mark on the M3 Making Marriage Matter page on Facebook. So if you are on Facebook, please invite your friends to like the page so that we can get to 250. And then when we hit 250, we're going to unlock the YouTube channel, and that will have all of these broadcasts that we've done in the past. This one and everything that we've done in the past will be on the YouTube channel. So help us to get to 250. We would greatly appreciate it. Be on the lookout for some other great things coming from Team Gracie and M3 Making Marriage Matter. So we love you all. We appreciate you all. You got anything else?
Share the page with your friends. That way they'll like it, and we can keep on moving and helping marriages and helping you.
Exactly.
We love you.
See y'all next week.
Deuces.
Love y'all.